This really is an idea that came to Bill Free, and I to start a 7-day online free course just because people really don't know what we've been doing, over the last couple months or years. And so it starts on Monday. It's brand new. We're going to be live every day at 2 p.m. Eastern, called 7 Days to Awakening. It's totally free. There's a link here that you can join. Starts Monday, February 7th. We're going to be on every single day for 30 minutes live, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And starting on day one, we are going to really just start with the top. It's not 7 days to awakening. It really is just a realization. The awakening is now. Like, it's a realization of now, of your true nature, your true self, oneness. Each day, Bill and I are going to switch off. One of us is going to start a meditation, just a brief meditation. You do not need long practices to know the self, because the self is what you are. And, so many of us have a spiritual practice. I have A Course in Miracles since 1992. I was looking on the internet and I found out that over 2 million copies of A Course in Miracles have been sold since the 70s. And I was like, wow, 2 million copies. Now, it doesn't mean that 2 million people have read it and have studied it, but if you even take 50% of that, that's 1 million people. And even if you take less than that, if you take less than 1 million people, you take 500,000 people who have done the workbook lessons, really just said, okay, I'm remembering something. I'm remembering there's more to life than just what I think I am as a body. There's more. And yet most people's experience is struggling. Even if you've completed A Course in Miracles, even if you've done A Course in Miracles 20 times, you've done the workbook lessons 10 times, 20 times, 30 times. And the thing I hear the most is people saying, I'm not there yet. But what you are is here. You can never not be not here. You are here. And so the only thing that's not here is the seeming separate self, which is an image that you've identified with, and that's where you've been living from. So we really hope you join us. I'd love to take questions also, but we're going to have a slide every day, and Bill created this awesome thing called the Ladder of Awakening, and it has 6 rungs on the ladder. And what we're going to do is we're going to show it to you on day 1, Monday, and then every day is going to be a new practice, brief. Like I said, we're only going to be on for 30 minutes every day, and each day there'll be a small little practice on day 2, and then the next rung of the ladder. So starting with perception, true perception, observer, awakening awareness, awaken the dream, and then pure presence, God is at the top. So where we want to start on day 1 at the top of the ladder. We don't want anyone to think, oh, I'm going to wake up in 7 days. I'm going to wake up in 365 days when I finish A Course in Miracles. No, you're given the whole thing on day 1, right? Course in Miracles says there's no order of difficulty in miracles. How come so many of us don't have that experience? Why? Says it right on page 1. How is it that we totally have just been struggling? And so for me, like, I had an experience in October 2018, thanks to Bill Free, where he introduced me to non-duality language. And I wasn't used to it. I never wanted to look at non-duality teachers. I was 100% committed to A Course in Miracles. I still am. But I really needed to take away all the different identities: Holy Spirit, Christ, God, Jesus, him, he, um, the duality of A Course in Miracles as if there's a thing outside, and to come into a direct experience of only oneness. Even the ego is part of oneness. The ego is not separate. And so this is what we're going to do. Grateful for you, Cindy Krupp, for she actually took everything that we're going to be doing for 7 days out of Living in Oneness, which is a 12-week program that we offer. And Cindy picked out the top practices that have been the most powerful for people who have taken that program. So we're just gonna, for 7 days, take everyone through those practices.
Okay. So I got a couple of things I want to say or highlight. This is going to be 7 days. If you attend live, it'll be 2 p.m. Eastern every day, like Lisa said. You don't have to attend live to register, right? The replays will be, I'm going to take it as an action to get those replays up into the membership area as quickly as possible. The other part of this is after the 7 days are up, we are going to take this 7-day teaching and get it into our membership area. It's going to be free. It's always going to be free. So if you're sitting here saying, maybe not now, maybe later, you can register later. That being said, there's over 700 people that have already registered to begin on Monday. And as someone who's been through other group experiences versus self-studies and all type of things, there is an energetic vibrancy and excitement and energy shifting that occurs when you say yes to something like this with a group. And I'm going to ask you to comment on that, Lisa. But the other part of that is also, I'd love for you to comment on the power of the commitment of beginning and ending with a group, because saying yes to what is happening next week without a financial investment, because for 7 days, no one's going to ask you for money. I promise. This is an absolutely financially free offer, but it's not a free relatives commitment. If you don't show up, you're not going to reap the rewards. So
Yeah.
I'd love for you to comment on both of those things.
Yes, totally. Well, I think, the commitment is interesting. I'm married to Bill Free. I live with Bill Free. And I I didn't take a program, but in October 2018, before that, he had been studying with non-duality teachers for quite a long time, Rupert Spira, Francis Lucille, and I didn't want to hear about any of it. But after a very long sickness, physical sickness, weakness, frailty, just trying to get out of it, he offered me one little thing, welcoming. And from that moment, I recognize that as my awakening in October 2018. But it didn't stick. It did, but it didn't. And so since then, it's been 4 years now. And I would say for the next year, living with Bill, he really, I really just kept so close to living as the self, like living as awareness, staying present as wholeness. And I had him with me in the house. So that was my commitment. It was just like, because I kept falling off, I'm still sick. I still am having thoughts of doubt. And he would remind me that the thoughts arise. You don't have to do anything if you get angry or you get afraid or you are confused. You stay as awareness, and we're going to talk about that in the 7 days, and see, oh, that's a thought arising in oneness. I'm confused. I'm still sick. I am in pain. I don't get it. And you you and so to have someone holding you to the mark. So I had Bill holding me to the mark, and then of course I picked up Rupert Spira's book, so I had Rupert Spira holding me to the mark, and then I kept going back to the course. So it was this beautiful like marriage sort of all the teachings and the direct experience. And that to me is what community is all about, is where you recognize I haven't been getting it on my own. I was 100% committed. I mean, I gave away all my physical belongings, 20 years ago, committed 100% to awakening, and I'd have glimpses. Nothing stuck though. So I was really trying to get it from intellectual, and that's the beauty of a group, is to have someone kind of really say like, okay, we're leaving the intellectual thinking about this now. You cannot think about this because the thinking is part of the seeming separate self. So if you're trying to think about how to wake up, that's you want to it's someone once said in Living in Oneness in one of our calls, zoom out to be aware of who wants to wake up, and to know you are the awareness. Awareness doesn't need to wake up. What you are doesn't need to wake up. And the self that needs awakening isn't real, it's seemingly real. And this can sound like a lot of like, you know, gobbledygook or blah, 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 until you have the direct experience. And then, of course, one of my favorite parts is the integration back into the body. So you're not trying to like get out of the body. You're staying as awareness, which isn't contained in the body, but the body's not contained in it, but the body's in it. And that's what we're going to do every day for 7 days. Not just talking about it, but meditations that hopefully will lead you to the direct experience. Right, boom, boom, to no awareness in the moment. And from there's no going back. There was no going back from October 2018, none. But I still noticed like I would have thoughts, oh, it's not complete yet. But there was no more like going back into that place of being a weak, sick, frail. I would see the thoughts arising and I would just watch them. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about the observer. We're going to talk about, a lot of people get stuck at the observer. And that's not the end, but it's a huge step from being sucked into the content of experience and suffering. And so yeah, I'm like a huge sort of cheerleader for people kind of getting into a group. This morning, this is so funny, Bill is super into these John Deere tractors right now. We bought a house last year, and he bought these John Deeres. One's for the grass, one's for plowing, one's for blowing snow, and they haven't all been working so well. And he watches videos on YouTube, and he finds he's people are showing him how to fix them. And I said to Bill, that's the beauty of having a teacher. He was going to buy a new one. He was going to get rid of the one, but he thought, I'm just going to see if someone's done this before. And he found out a ton of people have done this before. For him, it's super easy to fix. He's like, oh, I'm just going to go to Home Depot this morning and he's going to fix it. And he fixed it. That's the beauty of having someone who's already gone the place, who's living there, and who can guide.
So the ego limited mind saying, Cindy, don't say it again because it gets obnoxious. But I'm going to say it again anyway. Have you shared this video yet? Have you registered yet? Please tell your friends. This is a 100% free. No one's going to ask for any kind of money experience. Doing it with us next week live means that you will spend between 20 to 30 minutes live every day with Lisa Natoli and Bill Free. And I don't know, something over 1,000 of your dearest friends worldwide who are all committed to this self-realization experience.
Mhm.
If you are listening to us right now, it's because you called us in, right? You've been asking for a teacher, for a moment, for a pause, for an opening. You've been asking. And whether you're saying yes, 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 or you're feeling intense resistance, because my experience, and Lisa, if you want to share this, my experience is that behind intense resistance,
Mhm.
there is something there that happens when you stand still in that. If you're
Yeah.
here, why not register?
Yeah, I think that's such a great thing, Cindy. Thank you so much. And I think most people actually are not thinking I want a new teacher. I think a lot of people are at this phase where they're sick of Zoom calls, they're sick of another course. They're like, I don't want to take another course. I just want to be. Yeah, right? We all do. And so you have to really ask yourself, like, okay, yeah, I can see like I don't want to take another class. I don't want to do anymore. But you have to really ask yourself, are you having an experience of total freedom and joy? Are you living from wholeness? Is that how you live every day? Do you wake up and know your eternal true nature, your state of grace? That's the only question like I'm going to ask, because if that is not your everyday experience, then why not sign up? Why not? And really just see, okay, yeah, why not? Let me just have a look. I mean, it's free. It's 7 days, and and let yourself be amazed. Let yourself be surprised. Like to say, okay, I've heard it. I've heard this a million times. I can't tell you how many people have seen me. I've been teaching publicly since 2004. So a lot of people say, "Oh, I know. I already know what Lisa's going to say." They tell me it directly. They actually say, "Oh, I'm not signing up because I've already been around you for 10 years and I already know everything you have to say." Yeah, great. But is your experience total freedom? Are you awake? Are you free? And so for me to see like what it is to live even in like times of COVID and pandemic and all this violence that's happening now and the fear and the total division that's happening in the world and living in doubt and what's going to happen to the world, and to see nothing shakes this unshakable peace and happiness, and that I can still be in whatever happens, whatever comes up. I don't have to go isolate myself the way I used to because I would get so overwhelmed. I don't have to go like, oh, I can't deal with people. You find your center and now you are free, totally free. And so that would be the only. We had somebody in the last Living in Oneness group, the 12-week group, and she said that. She's like, I don't want to, I'm done taking classes. I'm so over it. I don't want to sit on Zoom anymore. I don't want to do another class. And she signed up, and she's like the number one person who's just been so vocal about how it changed her life. She was like, oh my, because she kept saying, I want a one-on-one. I need one-on-one. I need to talk to someone. I don't want to watch someone on a video. I don't want to be in community. I don't want to be in a group anymore. And I was like, well, it's available if you want it. And she just when she's written to us like 10 or more times saying how grateful she is that she didn't listen to that voice that told her, I'm not taking another class. I'm not. Because sometimes you just hear one little thing, and that's what happened with me with Bill in October 2018. I heard one little thing Bill said, and it ended 8 years of sickness and suffering. And Bill didn't do it. Bill doesn't have special powers. Bill simply offered me something, and just like I just knew, oh yes, this is it. No more struggling. No more trying to wake up. I am awake. And then it's just a matter of letting that be the realization that you start to live. And um and it's been such an amazing journey for me, just to see how ordinary this awakening is. It's not like you wake up and then you're like, "Oh, I'm no more problems." It's an awakening where then there's just presence, and the world can shift and change. Things can fall apart. People, they do. I mean, no one's exempt from that. But the thing that you really develop, and you have the realization, is that this peace, this the self, this is what's unshakable.
Yeah. So have you registered yet?
Have you all registered? So seriously, so what Cindy's saying is so true. Like, please share it. Like, just so many people really that are out there struggling. They're
Well, the reason I say it is because if you're listening right now, there's a reason. And what would be your reason other than, again, I brought up resistance, there's something in you that's saying, no, I don't have time, or I've been there, done that, it won't work. And I think the reason I'm just kind of inviting you to challenge that a little bit, right? There is a reason you're listening. And it may be because you're tired of listening to the voice that wants to tell you that you can't. This is a 7-day opportunity to show yourself and show that voice that you can. And if you ask why free, maybe it's because Lisa and Bill want to do for you what Bill activated in Lisa that day in 2018, because it feels awesome to be in the presence of people who are having that experience. And
And
maybe
what Bill
that's
always
it.
talks about, that day in October 2018, that morning, he was with Rupert Spira at a retreat, one of those week-long retreats. I was here home in Maine, and he heard something Rupert said in the morning in the meditation. And that's what he offered me that night on the phone. So that night when we were on the phone, I was like, I'm in so much pain. I don't know what to do. I tried everything. I tried everything to heal. And he offered me an idea that he got that morning. That is the beauty of how we share these things. We just share them. We say them, we share them, and then you hear them, and then you share them. And then in this way, this is where A Course in Miracles becomes true, is that we give it, just like someone kind of frees us from our suffering, and then we offer it to another, and then they offer it to another, and then they offer it to another. This interlocking chain of forgiveness, is how Course in Miracles puts it. And I love that. And it says that we're not done until every hand is joined in love. That's from A Course in Miracles.